So, like, what would lead someone? Let's get as dark as we can get. What's the darkest? Probably child sacrifice.
Hurting.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Child
100%.
sacrifice. And I think that that's happened before. I don't think that that has not happened in human histories. In fact, I know it's happened because my friend Shane Smith covered it when he was over in Africa when he interviewed that General Butt Naked guy. That guy used to sacrifice children from the enemy tribes before everyone in Liberia. He would sacrifice them and cut open their chest and eat their heart. He would eat a piece of their heart before going into battle.
Dark energy, dude.
Right, but that's a real human being that did that. So we know that he didn't invent that.
Right.
He didn't invent that.
No, I mean, it's in the Bible,
Right.
too. Like when they want to take out the Canaanites and, atheists use that as like, oh, he wants to kill all the women and children. What do you think about that? Well, the Canaanites were practicing child sacrifice. There's a reason why. Now, the language, we can get into like the Bible language, especially in the First Testament. Like, is it the language of the time? And they were a lot more blunt with it. But the Canaanites were sacrificing children. I mean, that's a big part of it. Goes all the way back to Kronos, to the first god, which is the god of time, and the whole story about it was told that his kids would slay him. So every time his female would have children, he would eat the kids.
Jesus.
Time. Black cube of Saturn. It get weird.
I wonder how they're going to look at some of the things that pharmaceutical drug companies have pushed through in the future and the impact that it had on kids, and whether or not they're going to think of that in a similar way to child sacrifice. Because it really is kind of, if you know that it's causing damage, but you're doing it for money, you kind of sacrificing kids
100%.
for money.
What is this?
How to Stop India's Superstitious Killings Ended in Exile. What's this about, Jamie?
Read the caption there. Oh, just covered up.
Human sacrifice, particularly that of minors, has been prevalent in many parts of India for a long time. Jeez. More than 85 kids, all under 13, were ritualistically murdered in the country in the last 6 years per government data. Last year, there were 14 cases of parents or relatives sacrificing or attempting to sacrifice children on the advice of a sadhu, a holy man.
Oof.
Bro,
that gets in the
how crazy is it that that was a part of history, and
It's still happening.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, it's still in 2025. People think that sacrificing a child is the right move. That's what we need to do. We need to sacrifice a child.
Well, that's the whole thing. Kids are the closest to God.
Yeah. When you think about like things like that, like drugs that are pushed on kids, that's just for profit, medications that kids are forced to take that's just for profit, things that are fucking them up where they're, it's just because people want to make money. And how are they going to look at that in the future? When we look at child sacrifice and they were doing voodoo, or they, the Mayans thought they were sacrificing people to the gods, we think of it as barbaric, right? How are they going to look at like what we've done, where we just lied about stuff and skirted around the truth and gave distorted versions of what we're actually selling to kids. And then those kids wind up dying. They wind up having heart attacks. They wind up having cancer. And it's probably directly related to this medication. And no one wants to take credit for it. No one wants to admit it. And everyone's making money.
Everything's programming, dude. Even those people in India, their programming of their religion tells them like to sacrifice their own children. I mean, like,
crazy
goes against everything you're wiring.
Yeah, it's like that's the ultimate control you have over a person. You get them to sacrifice their child.
Right? I mean, if you're at a kids park and a kid's in trouble, it doesn't need to be your kid. You run over to make sure the kid's okay. I've done it 1,000 times.
Right.
But now you have people like, especially like if you look at like what's going on in Gaza, you have people labeling newborns as terrorists. Like that is your programming overriding your basic instinct, which is to protect children at all costs because they are the future.
Yeah.